Hey guys, welcome to Y&R Daily Update YouTube channel. Today's topics: Young and the Restless video preview. January 5th to 9th. The Abbotts gain damaging info on Victor. The new year kicks off with more drama in the Abbott vs. Newman war. The new year is off to a dramatic start on the Young and the Restless. This week's video previews that Victor could be headed for a downfall, while another character's life hangs in the balance. Here's a sneak peek of what's ahead for January 5th to 9th. Key takeaways: Noah and Nick come up with a plan to save Sienna. Kyle gains valuable intel on Victor. Sienna unleashes Matt's anger. Next, on Time is ticking to save Sienna. Tamara Brown. The longer Matt Roger Howarth holds Sienna hostage, the more panicked Noah Lucas Adams becomes. When he meets with Nick Joshua Morrow to discuss their plan, he's not so hopeful. When Nick brings up putting Matt under surveillance, Noah brings up the cons of the plan. Noah reminds his dad that he said Matt would spot a tail from a mile away. Nick agrees, which is why they came up with a better plan. Whatever Nick's new plan is, he better hurry because time is of the essence. And if anything happens to Sienna, Noah might not forgive his father. Checkmate for the Abbotts cross town. Jack Peter Bergman and Diane Susan Walters are still dealing with their Victor Eric Bredin problem. The mustache thinks he's won the war by having Jabbo go under, but the Abbotts aren't giving up without a fight. And thanks to Kyle's Michael Mueller research, they might have him beat. Kyle arrives at the Abbott mansion to tell his parents something interesting he's discovered. He tells them about Matt and how he's returned to terrorize Nick and Sharon Case. When Diane asks what this has to do with Victor, Kyle replies, "Just wait until you hear." Since Victor used the stolen AI software to destroy Matt's business empire, the mustache is in a heap of trouble. Now that Jack and Diane know this information, they'll use it as a bargaining chip. If Victor wants to stay out of prison, he'll have to stop his attack on Jabal. Victor doesn't like to lose any battle, but with his freedom at stake, he might have no other choice. Bloody battle. The stakes might be against Sienna, but she's proving she's a tough gal. When Annie Catherine Kresge and Matt move Sienna to a new location, she fights back against her captors. During the scuffle, Sienna hits Matt and busts his lip. "You drew first blood, but I will draw the last," an angry Matt replies as he chokes Sienna. With Sienna igniting Matt's fury, things aren't looking good for the nightclub owner. Will Noah and Nick rescue her in time, or will Matt make good on his promise to Sienna? Subscribe our channel for more latest update. There are very few things in Genoa City more dangerous than Victor Newman when he's in control. But there's one thing that has always posed a genuine threat to him: information he doesn't control. The Young and the Restless video preview for January 5th to 9th delivers a seismic tease, one that could tilt the balance of power in ways viewers haven't seen in years. The Abbotts, long positioned as Victor's most enduring rivals, gain damaging information that has the potential to weaken the Newman patriarch in a way brute force never could. This isn't just another chapter in the Abbott-Newman rivalry. This is about leverage, legacy, and the rare moment when Victor Newman may finally be on defense. Information: Victor Newman's one true vulnerability. Victor Newman has survived scandals, betrayals, arrests, corporate coups, and even death scares. What makes him nearly untouchable isn't morality or loyalty, it's preparation. Victor usually knows what's coming long before anyone else does. That's why the idea of the Abbotts gaining damaging information is so compelling. If Victor didn't anticipate this, it means something slipped through the cracks. And Victor does not tolerate blind spots. Information doesn't have to destroy Victor outright to be effective. It just needs to disrupt his control, force him to react instead of dictate. That shift alone changes everything. Why the Abbotts holding this power matters. The Abbott family isn't new to playing Victor's game, but they've often done so This time feels different. The video preview suggests the Abbotts aren't just stumbling onto information, they're holding it, assessing it, deciding how and when to use it. That restraint is key. Jack Abbott has learned, often painfully, that immediate retaliation rarely wins wars with Victor Newman. The fact that this information isn't instantly detonated suggests strategy rather than impulse. For once, the Abbotts may be thinking several moves ahead. What kind of information could truly damage Victor? Not all secrets are created equal, especially when it comes to Victor Newman. Financial misconduct alone wouldn't be enough. Victor has weathered those storms before. Personal indiscretions. Embarrassing, but survivable. For this information to truly matter, it must strike at one of Victor's core pillars: his control over his family, his moral authority within Newman Enterprises, his carefully curated narrative as protector and patriarch. If the information threatens how others see Victor, particularly Nick, or the board, then the damage becomes exponential. Victor's power depends on loyalty as much as fear. Undermine one, and the other weakens. Doc Abbott's calculated restraint. Jack Abbott's reaction to this revelation will be everything. Jack has always struggled with timing. His heart often outruns his strategy, but recent arcs suggested Jack who's learned patience, perhaps even subtlety. If Jack is the one guiding how this information is handled, expect restraint. Expect misdirection. Expect Victor to feel pressure without fully understanding why. That kind of psychological chess is something Victor excels at but hates when used against him. The Abbott family's internal debate. Holding damaging information doesn't guarantee unity. The Abbotts are famously divided on how far is too far. Some may see this as justice, others may see it as crossing an ethical line. That internal conflict adds tension. Do they expose Victor publicly? Use the information as leverage behind the scenes? Protect certain people while targeting others? Every choice carries consequences, not just for Victor, but for the Abbotts themselves. Victor Newman's instinct for counterattack won't stay vulnerable for long. Once he senses that something is off, once he feels control slipping, his instincts will kick in. He will investigate, he will intimidate, he will preemptively strike. The preview hints at Victor being unsettled, which is rare and telling. That unease suggests he doesn't yet know the scope of the threat, and that ignorance may be his greatest weakness. How this impacts the Newman family. Victor's enemies aren't the only ones affected by this development. If damaging information comes to light, it will test the loyalty of his family, especially Nikki and Nick. Will Nikki defend Victor at all costs? Will Nick question the narrative he's always been fed? Will Adam see opportunity rather than threat? Victor's greatest fear has never been losing power, it's losing control over how his family perceives him. The Abbotts holding this information could force those reckonings into the open. The long shadow of Abbott-Newman history. This rivalry has always been cyclical: attack, retaliation, détente, repeat. But this moment feels different because it isn't driven by ego, it's driven by exposure. Exposure doesn't allow for bravado. It doesn't respond to threats. It just exists, waiting to be revealed. That's what makes this preview so effective. It reminds viewers that the most dangerous weapon in Genoa City isn't money or muscle. It's truth. Why this storyline feels earned. One of the reasons this development works is because it's rooted in history. Victor Newman hasn't played clean. He's left wreckage behind. He's justified it all in the name of family and legacy. Eventually, that kind of history creates receipts. The Abbotts finding damaging information doesn't feel contrived, it feels inevitable. The rinse take. This is Victor's most dangerous moment in years. At the rinse, we look for moments that change the board, not just move pieces. This is one of them. The Abbotts gaining damaging information on Victor Newman isn't about revenge. It's about accountability, about what happens when even the most powerful man in Genoa City loses narrative control. Victor can fight enemies, he can crush rivals, but he cannot erase the truth once it's in the wrong hands. What happens next? The real tension won't be in the reveal, be in the waiting. How long will the Abbotts sit on this? Who will crack first? Will Victor sense the threat before it's too